Okay, so we're here in the kitchen, making one of my most favourite things to eat in the whole world, my eggplant, borlotti bean and avocado dip. And I'm using two of my most beautiful favourite vegetables in the world, eggplant of course and borlotti beans, and avocado of course, which you can just about put in anything. This is great because what I do is I tend to make a lot of this when I have a bit of time or when eggplant's cheap in the market. And once it's baked, I just put it straight in the freezer in little containers, and it's there 12 months of the year. I don't have to do this. I can just cook my beans and the eggplant's already prepped. I make the dip, I use it for antipasti, I make a quick sauce out of it if I've only got 10 minutes. It's just fantastic, you can use it in everything. So this is what we do, we just peel it basically and slice it, and don't worry about the browning, eggplant just goes like that anyway, oxidises a little bit, but once it's cooked it'll just go that beautiful caramelised, beautiful flavour. Just peel it, slice it in nice chunky pieces, and then we're going to bathe it in olive oil, a little bit of salt, and then we just bake it in the oven for about, I don't know, gosh, it only takes about 20 minutes, 10 minutes each side. You just want it to sort of colour a little bit. You don't want to overcook it because obviously you're cooking it again in whatever you're doing. And just let it cool down in the trays by themselves, and then either put them in a snap lock bag and straight in the freezer, or in little containers. Reusable containers are great. Because when I have time, or like I said, if you've been to the market and you can see them really cheap, I grab a whole box because they just come in handy all the time. Just slice them up, peel them, slice them into nice chunks, however thick you like them. It doesn't matter if they're thick or thin, and we basically cover them in olive oil. As you know, or if you've ever cooked with eggplant, they absorb a lot of olive oil. So basically I just put them like this and just layer them. They can be sort of on top of each other, it doesn't matter. They shrink in the cooking process, so you sort of, the second time you turn them around, you just sort of tighten them all up again or loosen them so that they're uncovered. Just like that, basically pour the olive oil on the tray, like this, just turn them over and cover them up. A little bit, we'll just put a little bit more on the top before it goes in the oven anyway, just to make sure they're all wet. Just lay them all on the tray, just neat and tidy. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy, but that's the way I cook. Make sure they're covered in olive oil, and then what we do is we just add a tiny little bit of salt, not too much, just to give it a little bit of flavour. And the salt also brings out the moisture, so they just cook a little bit better, and they caramelise because the natural sugars naturally come out of them. Just like that, just a tiny pinch. If you put too much salt, then they're too salty and then you've just ruined them. But just a tiny pinch of salt. Stick them in an oven. I always put my oven about 180 degrees. And, well, just until they start to colour, which is probably 15, 20 minutes, as long as your oven's preheated. That's all it takes. And then halfway during the cooking process, I just turn them over. Usually the underside's already caramelised, so the second part of it only takes probably a further 5 or 10 minutes. Then I take them out of the oven and just let them sit to cool. And voila, they're ready to use.